ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जय उदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददान्ति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथां वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री हरे कृष्ण। So welcome everyone for this Saturday morning Bhagavatam session. So today we'll see the next chapter, which is chapter number 17, Punishment and Reward of Kali. So before this, we have seen that how after Yudhishthir Maharaj and all the Pandavas have left the Hastinapur, they have made Parikshit Maharaj as the king. And in the last chapter, we have seen how Parikshit Maharaj is capable and is ruling the kingdom, and how uh, he is able to see a conversation, between bull and the cow, and how they are being hit by the personification of Kali Yuga, Kali, right? So Kali, he was dressed like a king, but he was hitting both the bull and the cow, and both bull and cow, they were conversing. We have seen in the last chapter. So now we'll see how Parikshit Maharaj, he is receiving the personification of Kali Yuga, Kali, and we'll see how he punishes him. So I'll read the first verse. So we are in chapter 17. Suta Uvacha Tatra Yogimithunam Raja Hanyamanena Nantavad Dandahastam Chavrishalam Dridesha Nripalanchanam. So here Suta Goswami is continuing to explain to the Shaunaka. So Suta Goswami is telling that after reaching that place, Maharaj Parikshit observed that a lower caste Sudra dressed like a king, was beating a cow and bull with a club as if they had no owner. Right? So here we can see that he is telling uh, how is so Parikshit Maharaj, he is observing that no, a person is there, he is dressed like a king, but he is not behaving like a king, right? So Prabhupada writes in purport that in the age of Kali also, we can see so many people, no, who are into administrative, who are into educating general public. They are not actual Brahmanas, they are not actual Kshatriyas, but they'll be taking the position of Brahmanas, they'll be also taking the position of administration, right? So we can clearly see in Kali Yuga, uh, the kind of administration we have today. The kind of administration we have today in Kali Yuga is following adharma, right? So as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? So whatever the great people follow, do the praja will follow, right? So in today's Kali Yuga, we have the administration and we have the education people who are all following a dharma. So they themselves are breaking all the four regulative principles, right? So meat eating, intoxication, illicit relationship, um, and then what? And gambling, right? So all these four principles are broken by even the great, even the personalities who are in this administrative position. So this is what Prabhupada is mentioning, that like how here the Kali is dressed up like a king, but by nature he is a Shudra. No, Shudra means he is of a lower character who doesn't follow the Vedic scriptures, who doesn't follow the religious principles, right? So in Kali Yuga also we can see everyone like this Kali, right? They are nicely dressed, but they are irreligious. They don't follow any religion, right? So this is the first verse. And then in the second verse, we can see that no, the description of bull. It is mentioned that the bull was as white as a lotus flower. He was terrified of the Shudra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating. Right? So, in the age of Kali, so the dharma is very beautiful. No? Dharma is as beautiful as lotus flower. It is mentioned here. But because the Shudra, the Kali, no, they will not follow any religious principle, right? So they'll break all the rules and regulations of religion. So that's why here it is mentioned that the bull, who is the personification of religion, is standing on one leg, right? So Prabhupada mentions that in this modern age, no, nobody is interested in following religion, right? In the name of secularism, Prabhupada mentions that everybody is encouraged to not discuss about God, to not teach about God, right? So in today's schools also, or in any other institutes, whenever someone is trying to talk about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, or a religious principle, so everybody says no, that no, we are from secular. This is India is a secular country, so no, we will not allow all these things. So in schools also, if someone wants to teach Bhagavad Gita or principles of religion, so nobody encourages, right? So they say no, this is a secular country, so will not allow. But actually, what is the meaning of real secularism? Real secularism means, Prabhupada explains, that everybody should be allowed to worship whatever faith they believe in, right? So basically, the meaning of religion is to love God, right? So that is the basic meaning of religion. So in whatever process they believe, on, or what in whatever process they have faith in, so they should be allowed or they should be given freedom to access that freedom, right? Of whatever faith they have. So that is the true secularism. But today, what is happening in the name of secularism? They are only encouraging irreligion. So they don't want to talk, they don't want to teach religious principles in the name of secularism. So they are actually encouraging irreligion in the name of secularism. So that's what Prabhupada is telling. So here we can see that the bull is being tortured by the Shudra, the Kali, and he's standing only on one leg. And now there is a description of cow. So although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she was now rendered poor and calfless. Her legs were beaten by a Shudra. There were tears in her eyes and she was distressed and weak. She was hankering after some grass in the field. So we can see even the most humble animal, no cow, by uh, whose milk one can actually gain energy and one can actually understand the uh, principles of religion. So she herself is being tortured and no, she's become calfless, right? So in Kali Yuga, we can see that no, always the cows and calves are always separated because the person who is raising the cow, no, he is always feeling that no, if the calf is there near cow, the calf will drink all the milk, right? So they are always separated, and the cows they are milked. How they are milked manually, right? So they are not milked. So they are milked by machines. So they don't give any love towards the cow, right? So here we can see because of the Shudra. So the Shudra is mistreating the mother cow here, right? Then Maharaj Parikshit, who is well equipped with arrows and bow and seated on a gold embossed chariot, spoke to him with a deep voice sounding like thunder. So now all this scene is observed by Maharaj Parikshit. And when he comes and he sees that, no, how can both bull and cow, no, who are helpless, be tortured by this person who seems to look like a king, but who is not a king. So he became very angry and then he asked this Kali Purusha. He said, no, who are you? You appear to be strong and yet you dare to kill within my protection those who are helpless. So you seems to pose like a godly person, but your deeds are opposing the principles of twice born Kshatriyas. So here, so Parishit Maharaj is actually asking this person, who are you? No, being a king like me and all the prajas who are under my protection, how dare you actually try to kill people who are helpless? And you supposed to be like a Kshatriya, no, Nara Devo. So he's telling that you seems to be like a godly person, no, by the outwardly dress, but no, you're behaving like a Advija, right? So Dvija means, so in our Vedic culture, all the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they are called Dvija. That means they not only take natural birth from their mother, but they also take another birth when they are initiated by their spiritual master, right? So that means every person who is born takes another birth. So simply after taking a physical birth, they also get enlightened by the spiritual master and again they take a birth. So here we can see that anyone who is born once, like who has not taken initiation from the spiritual master, so that person will have very poor quality of spiritual understanding. So once they don't have proper understanding of spirituality, so obviously their behavior is irreligion, right? So here, that's why Parishit Maharaj is telling that no, you are behaving like a Advija. No, you pose outwardly, you are posing like a Dvija, like a Kshatriya, but you are acting like a Shudra. Right? So this is what he is asking Kali. You rogue, Do you dare to beat an innocent cow? Because Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the carrier of Gandiva bow, are out of sight. So, no, here, beautifully, Parikshit Maharaj says that no, thinking that Lord Krishna has left and Arjuna has left, no, they are no more here. So, you are trying to take advantage of this situation and you want to, no, kill innocent people. No, that's how it is. Parikshit Maharaj is asking. He's asking Kali. But now he's asking the bull also. He's telling, who are you? No, are you a bull as white as a lotus, white lotus? Or as you a demigod? No, you have lost all your three legs and you are standing only on one leg. So who is the cause of your uh, sorrow or misery? Right? So here King Parikshit Maharaj, he is asking the bull that no, why you are standing on one leg? No, who is the cause of your suffering? And then he's also asking mother cow also. No, you need not lament, he's telling. No, that there is no need to fear from this low class Shudra. Oh, mother, as long as I am living as a ruler, no, there is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. Right? So we can see here because Maharaj Parikshit is coming from the Kuru dynasty. So he is automatically inheriting. No, they are inheriting the qualities of no Yudhishthira Maharaj, Arjuna, right? So obviously, when he's seeing the bull and the cow suffering, so he's giving them assurance that no, you need not be afraid till the time I am the ruler. So you don't worry. No, everything will be good for you from now, right? Then he is continuously asking the bull, no, what is the reason? Who has cut off your three legs? No, what is the cause of your sorrow? So now the bull, no, it is answering in a very philosophical way. So it is telling, no, I really don't know who is the cause for my suffering. So the bull is saying that some philosophers say that one's own self is responsible for his personal happiness and distress. And others say that the superhuman powers, the devatas are the responsible for one's sorrows and happiness. And some other also say that ultimately the Supreme Lord is the ultimate cause of everything, right? So the personification of religion is very beautifully, no, Bull is not telling that, no, I am suffering because of this Shudra, right? So Bull is telling that I really don't know the right reason because in the Vedic scriptures, it is said that no, one gets suffering because of one's own action, right? That is one way of looking at it. Second way of looking at it is the devatas are giving us, what is in our pralabdha, right? So whatever is there, good or bad, which has to come to us, so we are rewarded in our lifetime, right? So this is the philosophy of the law of karma, right? And the third point, the dharma bull is telling is, no, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate cause. So that's why it is suffering. So it is giving all the three options to Parikshit Maharaj, and it is telling, so you are so intelligent person, so you make out, no, what is the cause of my suffering. So listening to this, no, Maharaj Parikshit, he could understand that no, this bull is none other than the personification of the religion himself. No, because of his words, he could understand that he was such an intelligent person and he could be none other than the religion himself. So here king is telling, oh, bull, no, in the religion, in the form of bull, you know the truth of religion and you're speaking according to the principle that the destiny intended for the perpetrator of religion's act is also intended for who identifies a perpetrator. You are no other than the personality of religion, right? So Parikshit Maharaj is making a very, very important statement here. Like any person who is suffering, right? So whenever we are suffering, we should not think that other person is the cause of our suffering, right? So one should think that because of one's own action, one is receiving the reaction as a suffering, right? But one should not think that, okay, he is the cause or she is the cause of my suffering. So what happens is uh, when we try to accuse someone saying that, no, this person is cause of my suffering, then what happens is we are again getting another reaction of accusing someone, right? So actually, in the lecture which was I was listening from Radhesham Prabhu was giving one incident. So once there was Rath Yatra happening in Pune, and they were all devotees who were engaged in service. So after a long time, when the Rath Yatra started, after 4 5 hours, so the prasadam distribution started, right? So there was one elderly devotee, so he just asked a young devotee that can you get prasadam for me, because the devotee was very tired and he was not able to go to the place where they were doing the prasadam distribution. So this young devotee, he went and he got one plate of prasadam for the elderly devotee and he just gave to him. So when the elderly devotee was having prasadam, he saw that there was no sweet. So there was sweet missing from the plate. So then he asked the younger devotee, so was there not any sweet? Because obviously we all know. So anytime prasadam is there, the prasadam is incomplete without sweet. Then the young devotee he replied, "Oh Prabhuji, I forgot to bring sweet, so I'll go and bring." Then he went back again to the area where prasadam was getting distributed, and then he got a cup of sweet rice. And then when he was coming, so just he was about to give that cup of sweet rice to that devotee, somehow he misbalanced himself and the sweet fell on the ground. So now, so that devotee who was thinking that, no, that now that the sweet has come, I'll eat sweet. So he was not able to have that. Right? So he told Prabhu, no, without sweet, I cannot complete my prasadam. So you please try to get another bowl of sweet, right? So then he asked the younger devotee, then he went back. So by the time he went, the prasadam was completed. So there was no sweet. So he came back saying that, no, Prabhu, there is no sweet. Then he started advising, you see, somewhere in the kitchen, they would have put some sweet for all the organizers so that they can have later. So you go and have, get some sweet from there. Then that other devotee, he went to the kitchen. Then he found that, yes, there was some bucket being kept aside for organizers. So, but nobody was allowing him to take from that, right? So he was being restricted. Then he came and he said same to that elderly devotee, saying that, no, Prabhu, I tried to convince, but they are not allowing me to take sweet from that sweet bucket. Then it will, okay, you wait here. I'll make a call. I'll make sure that they give you. So you go back again. So then he sends again that young devotee. Then he makes a call saying that, no, there is some sweet left there. So please, one devotee will come. You give him one bowl of sweet. So by the time he was able to tell, and by the time the other person was able to get that message on the other side, the sweet bucket was over. So again, that young devotee would come and say, Prabhu, you told, but the sweet in the bucket also is completed now. There is no more sweet. So that elderly devotee was getting little agitated that he was not able to have the sweet rice. But everybody, everyone were telling, no, it is the providence, the will of providence that you are not supposed to have, or maybe the insects are supposed to have today that sweet prashadam. So why do you want to, get agitated? No, it is just the will of the Lord by which it is happening. So you should not uh, see that, no, this person is not able to serve you properly with sweet or something like that, right? So Radhesham Prabhu was giving this example in the context that whenever we suffer, right? So we should not see that the other person is the cause for our suffering, right? So here Parikshit Maharaj is mentioning same that any person who thinks, right, who identifies that, okay, he is a perpetrator, no, because of him, I'm suffering. Then what happens? He again gets a reaction for that also, right? So whenever we are suffering, we should just think it is because of the will of the Lord, or because of my some karma which I have done, I have to get it back, so I'm suffering, right? So this is how one has to think. So Parishit Maharaj is appreciating, no, the attitude of the bull when he replied saying that, no, I don't know who is the real cause of my suffering. It could be my karma, or the nature, or the demigods who are giving me whatever is in my pralabdha. Okay. So like this, when Parikshit Maharaj, he appreciated the bull or the personality of religion. So he tells that, no, that in the age of Satya Yuga, no, all the four legs of the bull were erect. No, they were in position. What are the four pillars? They are Tapa, Saucham, Daya, Satya. No, Parikshit Maharaj is mentioning. Right? So Tapa means austerity. Saucham means cleanliness. Daya means being merciful. Satyam means being truthful. Right? So these are the four principles on which the dharma is always established. If these four principles are broken, or if these four principles are not being followed, then there is no chance for a person to follow religious principles, right? So that's why, no, Prabhupada has clearly mentioned that the basic thing a devotee should follow is they should follow the four regulative principles, right? So what happens? What are the four regulative principles? There is no meat eating, right? So whenever someone does meat eating, so what does meat eating mean? Means someone has to kill some animal and have to eat. So when someone does this, what happens? The daya doesn't be in their heart, right? So the quality of mercy is killed, right? So if someone is killing animals, then they cannot be dayavan in their heart, right? Obviously, you agree, right? So that's why to protect the principle of daya, so one should refrain from meat eating, right? So that is the first one, no meat eating. Then no intoxication, right? So if someone does intoxication, so what is the nature of a person who does intoxication? Does he follow some rules and regulations? No, right? Can he do some austerity? No, right? So we can see any person of a character who is always intoxicated. So no one in this world will expect something from him, right? Nobody will think that he will do some sacrifice or he'll do some tapasya, right? So out of his comfort zone, nobody will think that he'll come out. So he'll be always lazy, right? So that's why when someone does this intoxication, what happens is this tapa gets killed. The person cannot do any austerity, right? So this is automatically the quality, right? So when someone does intoxication, they cannot do tapasya. It is quite opposite for them to do tapasya. So that's why we should avoid intoxication. So by avoiding intoxication, what character we will safeguard is tapa. No, we'll be able to do austerity in our life, right? So getting up morning, doing japa, reading Bhagavad Gita, doing seva, no, taking care of our family. This is all tapasya for all of us, right? This is an austerity. Otherwise, as a person, we want to be very carefree, right? So we want to just sleep, eat, do something for entertainment, and then again repeat this process. We don't want to take any austerity of taking care of someone or following some rules and regulations. We don't want to do that, right? So that's why one has to avoid intoxication so that one can do some austerity, right? So by meat eating, we are killing the character of daya or mercy. By doing intoxication, we are killing the character of tapa or austerity. Sorry, daya means mercy. Now, saucham, cleanliness, right? So any person who is having illicit relationship, right? So they cannot be clean because their mind itself is so much polluted. So someone who is polluted internally, it is very, very difficult for them to be clean outwardly and inwardly also, right? So if, for example, there is a school, there is a school teacher or there is a principal or head of the school or any head of any institute in the society. So we all assume that the person should have a very clean character, right? Only when they have clean character, then they can take decisions for others, right? Because people at that position, they are leaders. They take decisions for others. Others are dependent on them, so they have to guide them. So they have to be selfless. So for them to be to have all these characters, or for them to be able to do all these things, so they have to be very clean in their character, right? So that's why one should avoid illicit relationship, right? So that's why one has illicit relationship, so they forgo the cleanliness or they forgo the clean character, right? So that's why we have to follow the principle of saucha. And one has to not break the principle of having illicit relationship. And the last one is Satyam, right? So no gambling. So we know, right? So someone who does gambling, can they be truthful? They cannot be truthful, right? So someone who breaks the principle of gambling, so we can assume that that person can never be truthful. So to safeguard the pillar of dharma, Satyam, so one should follow the principle of avoiding gambling, right? So that's why Prabhupada has put all these four principles. So it is nothing new which Prabhupada has got out of himself. No, these principles are given in our Shastras, right? So it is clearly given here that the bull is on only one leg in currently in Kali Yuga. That is Satyam, truthfulness. But otherwise, what are the four pillars of Dharma? That is Tapa, Saucham, Daya, and Satyam, right? So in order to get all these four qualities, so we have to avoid these four uh, things or four activities. What are the four activities? One should avoid meat eating, one should avoid intoxication, one should avoid illicit relationship, and one should avoid gambling, right? So when we avoid all these four things, what happens is automatically we are protecting the four pillars of dharma. And then automatically the person who is following is uh, on the mode of goodness actually, right? And once when someone is on the mode of goodness, it becomes easy for them to follow the religious principles, right? So that's what here Parikshit Maharaj is mentioning that no, your four legs, they were established in Satyuga, but now you are only standing only on one leg, which is truthfulness, right? Then actually, Maharaj Parikshit is very capable of single-handedly killing thousands of enemies. So when Kali Yuga, he saw that Maharaj Parikshit was about to kill or punish Kali, right? Then what did Kali Yuga did? He just surrendered. No, he became very afraid that no, now Parikshit Maharaj is so powerful. No, he is from the Kuru dynasty, no, where Yudhishthira Maharaj and Arjuna has ruled. So he was very, very afraid. And then what he did? He just surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. And then he told that no, you please give me a place where I can stay, right? But Parikshit Maharaj, no, he was not in a mood to give any place to Kali because he was irreligion. So he said, no, I cannot give you any place to stay in my kingdom because if you stay, then what will happen? All the bad qualities like greed, falsehood, robbery, misfortune, cheating, quarrel. So all this will be flourishing in my kingdom if I give you a place. So there is no place I can give for you to stay. But Kali Yuga, he pleads that no, you give me some temple, some place. No, not everywhere, but you give some place where I can stay permanently. Then, no, Parikshit Maharaj, no, he gives these four places. What are the four places? So wherever these principles are broken, right? So wherever there is intoxication, wherever there is prostitution, wherever there is gambling, and wherever there is meat eating. So he told there you can stay, right? So that's why we can see in Kali Yuga, so these activities are so prominent. No, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, prostitution, these are so common in Kali Yuga that practically they're everywhere. But when the time, during the time of King Parikshit, when he said, okay, these are the four places you can stay, then Kali thought, okay, no, there is no such place which exists. No, where there is gambling, intoxication, meat eating, and illicit relationship. So he told, no, you give me some other place. No, because I cannot find any place with these where these four things are happening right now. So during the time of Parishit Maharaj, no, when end of Dwapar Yuga or start of the Kali Yuga, so Kali was finding very difficult to find places where these four activities were happening. So then finally, Parikshit Maharaj he said, okay, no, you can stay in a place where is gold or Lakshmi or wealth, which is acquired by falsehood, right? So where there is accumulation of gold or wealth in abundance, no more than the limitation what is allowed by religion or which is accumulated irreligiously. So there also you can stay. So automatically wherever there is a lot of wealth which is which is acquired by ill methods, right? So you can see this is a very general perspective, right? So wherever you find people who are working hard to earn money, it is very difficult for them to spend that money on leisure things, right? But wherever the money is got by ill means, right? So, for example, you are working hard, so you are earning maybe some 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees per day, and with that money, you are being careful. You are trying to take care of your family, your children's education, all your daily means you are trying to take. But suddenly, someone comes, and then he says, "Okay, I am ready to give you 10 crores." Then what you'll do with that 10 crores? You will not be very careful. No, I have to safeguard for my daily needs or for my children's education or for their future needs. We don't think because that wealth is easily acquired. No, that is not hard earned money, right? It has simply come to us. Then what happens? We try to spend that money in all the leisure activities, right? So we'll think, okay, we have never gone out of India, so let's go to Europe tour. Let's go to this hotel. Let's go to some picnic, or let's try to give one big party to all our friends and relatives and show off that no, I'm having so much of money, right? So whatever wealth is ill got, we tend to spend on this leisure things, right? Similarly, wherever wealth is accumulated more than required, what will happen is all these four things will be present there. No, it is bound that wherever this ill-gotten wealth is there, intoxication will happen, illicit relationship will happen, meat eating will happen, and gambling will happen. Right. So today we can see. So wherever there is a lot of money, all these things are very prominent. So this is the fifth place which Parikshit Maharaj used to Kali to stay. But eventually what happens is, though the four places were very difficult for Kali to find, but Kali was able to find where the wealth was being accumulated more than required. Then Kali started being in those places. And when Kali started being in those places, obviously the effects of Kali started manifesting. And that's how slowly, the Kali Yuga, after almost 5,000 years from now, has passed. And today we can see all the effects of Kali Yuga being so much prominent around us, right? So we can clearly, evidently see these four principles of Dharma being broken left and right, and even the leaders. So there is no one to take care of the Dharma, right? So even the people politically or in a very big position, like in an office or in a school, in a college, in any institute, you pick all the leaders who are taking this leadership positions, they're all breaking the rules of religion. No, they're breaking these four regulations. So that's why Prabhupada has been very, very in particular that if you want to progress in spirituality, if you want to take Harinam Diksha, if you want to progress in your spiritual life, first thing you have to do is you have to follow the four regulative principles. So once one starts following these four regulative principles, he is out of the effect of Kali. You're able to understand this point. So when someone is following these four regulative principles, the four pillars of dharma are protected. And when they're protected, it is very, very difficult for Kali to be in that place. And when Kali is not there, then we can be away from the effects of Kali Yuga, and then we can progress on the spirituality. Otherwise, when we break these principles or any one of the principle, we get attacked by the Kali Purusha, and then we don't have that mindset of progressing in spirituality. Right? So that's why if one is very, very much enthusiastic to progress in spirituality, so one should follow this four regulative principles. So saying this, Maharaj Parikshit, he chased away the Kali Purusha, and Kali was trying to find place in Maharaj Parikshit's kingdom where these four principles are broken and where there is ill-got wealth, right? So with this, we end this chapter. In the next chapter, we'll see how King Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a Brahmin god, and that would be the last chapter of this first canto, right? So successfully, next week we'll be able to complete Canto 1, where we have seen all the 19 chapters, and then we'll try to go to the second canto thereafter, right? So thank you everyone for joining today's Bhagavatam class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah.
Anybody is having any questions or comments, we can take.